Good day, everyone. Today we are going to discuss a topic that we were not able to discuss clearly last time. Please give your full attention so that you'll be able to understand the topic very well. So the topic that we are going to discuss is all about motion. So what is motion? Motion is the change in location or position, such as this person traveling from point A to point B. There is actually a transfer of this particular person from point A to point B. There is change in position or location, and that is motion. If there is change in position or location, there can be motion that can be observed. There are many ways in order for us to describe the motion of the object. Sometimes we will just tell that the motion is very fast, the motion is slow, it is speeding up or slowing down. But there are actually terms that we can use in order for us to describe exactly the motion of the object. So we have here the distance, displacement, speed, velocity, and acceleration. Let us know each one of them. We have here distance and displacement. When I say distance, that is the actual length being traveled or moved by the object. Keyword for distance is actual length. Then displacement is the shortest distance from initial position straight to final position or from starting point straight to the end point. So keyword for displacement is shortest distance. So I would say, let's say, for example, we have here point A, which is considered as initial position or the starting point, and point B, which is considered as the final position or the end point. So a person traveled from point A to point B using road, which is 50 meters. So that is the actual length being moved by the person. But the shortest distance between the point where that person started from or came from, then to the place where it went went to is just actually 40 meters. So 40 meters is the displacement. Displacement is the shortest distance between the starting point and the end point. So that is displacement. And the distance is the actual length being traveled by the person. Another example we have here, um, point A, point B, point C. This person came from point A. Then he wanted to go there to point C. So he was able to pass by point B. So from point A to point B, he traveled 4 meters. Then from point B to point C, he traveled 3 meters. Overall, he traveled 7 meters. But the shortest distance between point A and point C is just 5 meters. And this is the displacement. But the exact length the person traveled is 7 meters. 7 meters is the distance. Okay, I hope that is understood when I say distance, that is the actual length. Then the displacement is the shortest distance between the starting point and the final point. Let's proceed right now to speed versus velocity. What's the difference between the two? When I say speed, that is the distance traveled divided by elapsed time. So you need to determine the distance and the elapsed time. The elapsed time is the time it took for it to travel the distance being given. Example, we have here car, which is um, the distance of 20 meters. It traveled 20 meters in just 10 seconds. So the time is 10 seconds. According to the given, the speed of this particular car is 2 meters per second. So it traveled 2 meters every second. Let's go to velocity. What is velocity? Velocity is the speed with direction or the ratio of displacement to time. So there are three things that you need to know: the displacement, the time, and the direction. So according to the given, the displacement is 20 meters, then the time is 10 seconds. Direction is east. So how are you going to um, to give the velocity. You are going to express the velocity by following this format. Velocity is equal to 2 meters per second east. So there is somewhat like um, just like the speed, but you need to indicate um, the direction because velocity is the speed with direction. So you need to give the speed, then the east. You need to use the given. Okay, try to look at the difference right now. The speed doesn't have direction, but the velocity has. V right here can be read as speed. So as here, the V here can be read as velocity. Now, how to get speed and velocity so that we can express them correctly. In order for you to get speed, we need to use a formula. The formula for speed is V is equal to D over T, wherein V is the speed, D is the distance, and T is the time. So we have here the given. The distance traveled by the object is 20 meters, then it took 10 seconds for it to travel that 20 meters. So what is asked? The asked is, the one that is being asked rather, is actually the speed. So in order for us to compute for speed, we need to use the formula, which is V is equal to D over T. Since we were able to determine the distance and time, let us substitute them. What is our distance? Our distance is 20 meters. There will be substitution um, that will happen. Then copy the all over sign. Then what is our time? Is 10 seconds. So um, use 10 seconds or substitute 10 seconds to T. So it is 10 seconds. There you go. So we can have already the process. We can have the computation. So let us divide 20 by 10. 20 divided by 10, it will give you 2. Copy the unit of distance, meters, and copy the unit of time, seconds. So um, the speed of this particular object which traveled 20 meters in just 10 seconds is 2 meters per second. Means that this particular object travels or traveled 2 meters every second. So this is the speed of the object. Let's go to velocity. The velocity, you need to get the speed and determine the direction. Okay, this is an example. Velocity is equal to 20 meters per second north. So you need to compute first the speed and then indicate the direction. In that way, you will be able to express the velocity of the object. Compute first the speed, then indicate the direction. Directly, you can express velocity. So what is the difference between velocity and speed? Speed has the distance and the time. On the other hand, the velocity has displacement, time, and direction. Between the two, only velocity indicates the direction. Is that understood? Hope so. Next, let's go to acceleration. What is acceleration? Acceleration, it is the rate of change of velocity. For speed, speed is the one that can tell you how fast or slow the object moves. For acceleration, it tells us that the object is slowing down, speeding up, changing its direction, changing its velocity, or it is accelerating or decelerating. When I say accelerating, speeding up, decelerating, slowing down. So if there are instances that the object changes its velocity and direction or direction, there is acceleration. Now, how to get acceleration, the exact acceleration of the particular object? We need to use formula. What is the formula of acceleration? A is equal to Vf minus Vi all over T, wherein A is the acceleration, stands for acceleration, Vf stands for final velocity, Vi for initial velocity, and T, which is elapsed time. When you say final velocity, it is the last velocity um, the object possessed. Then the initial velocity is the first velocity. Okay. final, it is the last velocity. Then the initial is the first velocity. Elapsed time is the time it took for it to change its velocity from initial to final velocity. Example, we have here a problem. A bus traveled 160 kilometers per hour after 1 hour. It speeded up to 180 kilometers per hour. What is the acceleration of the bus? So please be reminded that if we want to look for acceleration, the one that is being asked here is the acceleration. We need to use the formula. And aside from using the formula, we need to determine the variables. We need to look for the final velocity, initial velocity, and the time. Once able to determine the three variables, that is the time that we can compute for acceleration. What is again the formula for acceleration? It is it is A is equal to Vf minus Vi all over T. Now let us determine the final velocity, initial, and the time. Initial velocity and the time. Okay. Final velocity, initial velocity, and the time. And the acceleration is the one that is being asked. So what is our first velocity? Let us look for the initial velocity first. A bus travels 160 kilometers per hour. At first, it traveled 160 kilometers per hour. So that is our initial velocity, 160 kilometers per hour. Now let's go to its last velocity. After 1 hour, it speeded up to 180 kilometers per hour. So at the end, the speed or the velocity of this particular bus changes from 160 kilometers to 180 kilometers. So our final velocity is 180 kilometers per hour. Now, how long did it take to change its velocity from initial to final velocity? It only took 1 hour for it to change from 160 to 180. So this is our elapsed time, 1 hour. So there you go. We have here the given. Let us substitute the given using the formula that Sir Basti presented earlier. A is equal to Vf minus Vi all over T. What is our final velocity? It is 180 kilometers per hour minus copy minus sign or the subtraction symbol, then substitute the initial velocity. What is our initial velocity? It is 160 kilometers per hour. Then write the all over sign. Sorry. What is our time right now? So we're done already copying the all over sign. What is our time? Our time is 1 hour. So you substitute 1 hour to T. 1 hour. So there you go. We can compute right now. So let's start first by subtracting 180 kilometers per hour minus 160 kilometers per hour. So 180 minus 160, it will give you 20. Copy the unit of velocity or speed. It is kilometer per hour. So the unit, you copy kilometer per hour. Then copy all over sign and 1 hour. So we're done already subtracting. Let's go to another operation. If you can remember, I told you if this is the fractional, this is the symbol. This symbol tells us that we need to divide. So 20 divided by 1, it will give you 20. Then kilometer per hour divided by hour, it will give you kilometer per hour squared. Kilometer per hour divided by hour rather. Again, kilometer per hour divided by hour is kilometer per hour squared. This is squared. That is that to be read as 2. It is 20 kilometers per hour squared. So the acceleration of the bus is actually um, 20 kilometers per hour squared. What does it mean? Every hour, the bus speeded up, or it adds 20 kilometers per hour in its speed or velocity. Every hour, it adds 20 kilometers per hour to its speed or velocity. So there is a change of velocity. It is accelerating, it is speeding up. That is what we call acceleration. Okay, I hope everything is understood. If you have clarification or questions, concerns, please feel free to send message to Sir Basti on LMS or on Messenger. God bless and see you next time.